October 26th, 2021. We're here to talk about Ontario immigration, the Ontario government's policy that they're planning to basically apply for regulated professions in the province. Okay, what does this mean? What for you, for your families, for newcomers, for immigrants, right? We all know, or if you don't know, newsflash, that coming to Canada as a profession where it's regulated, whether it's an accountant, engineer, healthcare professional, teacher, electrician, early childhood educator, and so on, psychologists, these are regulated. So you need to be licensed by the regulatory board. Those professions are regulated. So there's a lot of education, examinations, there's a lot of paperwork. These are barriers for newcomers and immigrants to actually get those jobs in Canada, for example, in Ontario. But this is the same all across Canada. So the government announced in the past week in Ontario that they want to remove these barriers. What does this mean for you? Okay. Does it really mean today everything will change? No way. Okay. So if you think that tomorrow morning you're going to wake up and the government and these regulatory bodies have removed barriers for newcomers, no, it's not going to happen overnight. Okay. And this is not for healthcare professionals either. Okay. So we're going to quickly discuss why they're doing this, what does that actually mean, what to expect in the future, and how this will actually affect you or your family who's planning to come here or has already come to Canada. Okay. One, why have they done this? Well, there's a huge shortage. They have been facing massive shortages during COVID, during the past 2 years. In trades, we've always had a shortage. In trades means technicians for construction, like electricians, plumbers, because it's very difficult to become licensed here, to actually get the permits to work as a electrician, as a plumber, as a specific construction trades, engineers, psychologists, nurses, doctors, accountants, lawyers, right? So there's a huge shortage, especially in healthcare and construction, and all these other things that are happening right now because of COVID. That's the reason. So it's not that the government loves immigrants. I mean, maybe they do, but there's a shortage, and they realize that people are immigrating here to Canada and they cannot work in the designated profession. So if they're a nurse back home, it'll take them 2 years at least to get that profession, the licensing and permits, right? So that's why they're doing it. And what they're actually doing is this, basically. The proposed changes, if passed, right? So it's not even passed yet, would apply to non-healthcare regulated professions and compulsory trades, such as, there's almost 20 of them: professional engineers, architects, plumbers, electricians, accountants, hairstylists, teachers, early childhood educators, right? So there's about 20 of these professions which are regulated in most provinces, and this is what we're talking about is specifically Ontario, right? So when you come in as an engineer, you may not be able to get hired fully and be licensed as an engineer unless there's a supervising engineer that will sign off on all your work, right? I'm not talking about IT here. I'm talking about, let's say, civil engineers or things that are not IT based. IT based is not regulated, but all these other professions we just discussed are regulated. So what they want to do is force, or not force, maybe it's force, these bodies in these departments in the province which license and issue permits for professionals in their fields to allow their overseas work experience to be considered as equivalent, so they can get permits and licenses quicker, so they can actually work in these designated professions quicker, and they don't have to drive Uber cars or do something else, right? So that's the purpose of this policy. It's not implemented yet. It has to pass. Plus, each regulatory body in the province of Ontario has its own say. So it's not like the government will say, oh, do this, and they have to do it. They may challenge that. So right now, it's not for healthcare workers, but they want to push it to healthcare workers because it's very complicated. So that's not going to happen quickly, right? But for these other professions, there might be some regulatory bodies like, I don't know, CPA, Chartered Professional Accountants, or anything else that might say, yeah, we're willing to consider that. By the time they implement it, it might take 6 or 12 months. Some of them might implement it quicker. Some might not even implement it on time, or their implementation might be, half-hearted. So the point is, it's a great idea. How it will play out and be implemented and how quickly you will see the results is going to be a big question mark. It's all talk right now. It's good news because the intention is there by the government, but whether it'll happen, whether it will actually affect you and your family's opportunity in terms of these professions to become licensed and be allowed to work in these professions inside Canada, especially Ontario now, because of the Ontario government asking for this to be implemented, that's a huge question mark, right? So a lot of people say this is great news, this is blah blah blah. It's it's good news, but it's not going to affect anybody today, and probably not over the next few months. For next year, maybe, right? Certain professions, I could see that early childhood educators, plumbers, potentially accountants, and certain engineers, architects, perhaps, over the next 12 months will slowly start implementing. So if you're in these professions and you have overseas experience, one, it will affect you by allowing you to use your overseas experience easier to apply it here for that approval process, and to remove the language proficiency requirements, or making it easier. Those are the two key components that the Ontario government, the Ministry of Labor, is looking to do. Okay, so if we're gonna basically that's it. So if you're watching this and you're just looking for that news, we just talked for a few minutes, and you can just rewind and watch that, right? That's the news, okay? And it's very vague right now. We don't know what will happen, who will accept it, how it will be implemented. So that's all I can say about that news. That was the Ontario immigration update, regarding regulated professions in Ontario. Obviously, other provinces might follow suit if they see that it'll work in Ontario. Anyways, let's jump into questions. Quick intro. If you don't know who I am, I'm Reza from Toronto. In the evening, I'll have my colleague Laura join, but today it's just me. So I'm a licensed immigration consultant. I'm allowed by the Canadian government to help on immigration matters. You can post your questions live and we will answer them live, okay? And if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or wherever, or Instagram, our lives are only right now on Facebook and YouTube, and we will answer them, and you can always post your comments or questions as well. And remember, folks, this is unedited live, and all we do is just post it right after on our platform so you can watch the recording, right? That's all it is. There's no special effects, there's no little motion graphics, there's no fancy people, fancy studio, no colors, no titles, nothing. Basic, raw, help updates, helping everybody out there in terms of their questions. So let's jump into questions. Okay. So let's look at the questions. Yeah. So Rebecca Sisson says hi, hello. Let's bring the chat over to the screen. Kartik said on YouTube, hi, I applied withdrawal from my file but never got confirmation of withdrawal, and filed another application but got the visa for the first file, sent passport for stamping, got withdrawal letter. Okay, that's great. Then basically you can just send they're not going to process the second one when they see that your first one is approved. So just an FYI. So that's good news, Kartik. For the first application and got visa approved for second, what exactly is happening? Well, nothing. If you applied for the same application twice, they will process it once. They won't even look at. They'll look at the second one. They're like, oh, we just got approved. Why did he do another one? So there's not much you need to do. You can send a withdrawal of the second one too, but they're not gonna. Mujahid Yusuf is asking on YouTube, is it possible to request asylum in Canada while the plane is stopping at a Canadian airport? If you, that's a good question. If you depart, if you get off the airplane and you come to the border, the CBSA, yes, it's possible. They can accept or refuse you at the border, but yeah, that would be possible. Manushri Dingari from Facebook is asking a question. Hi, sir, I'm from India. Our application started processing as an intracompany transfer for Montreal on 21st of August. We are done with the biometrics and medical text. When can we expect our work permit? It depends on your NOC code. Potentially, if you're NOC 0A, you could get in 2 weeks. If not, it could take up to 4 months. So be ready. All right. So Rebecca Sisson is saying, why they will not serve tourism at the moment? I'm working as working SG. I applied tourist visa last December, was done in December too. It's not prioritized, not that they're not doing it. I would say that if you can find an excuse to change your condition or get some ties, showed some ties to Canada, or attend a conference or an exhibition here related to your industry, then reapply using the new structure that IRCC has allowed for visitor visas. Abdul Katir says, can I apply for a global talent stream on top of my express entry profile? Yeah, global talent stream means you do need an employer in Canada to give you a job offer. That's a requirement. So it's a little bit different than other streams. And will my tourist visa application be affected if my express entry profile is in queue? No. If you were not invited to apply and you're just in the pool, no, it will not affect your visitor visa, your study permit, or your work permit. If you are invited, then it's a oh. So yeah, hold on. So we have Bedros A. Hi, I'm an international student enrolled full-time in George Brown for the fall semester. I applied for a study permit back in June and I got rejected for financial reasons recently. Full-time George Brown College for the fall semester. Okay. Reapplied with stronger documents, and I just wanted to ask, when do I expect a final decision? I applied out of Kuwait, and IRCC processing time shows 14 weeks for study permit. Because your intake period has already passed, if it was September 2021, then it could take months, right? Or they might just process at the end of this year or early next year, right? And unless you fixed your application, then there's no reasons why they would accept, right? So you need to fix the reason that they refused you. Angela G is asking a question on YouTube. Hi Ingwe, I went to apply for the visitor visa for Canada, but in 2012 December I was made inadmissible to US point of entry for 5 years. Will it affect my application? Yes, it will. You need to work with a lawyer in US to remove this inadmissibility and to sort it out, then apply for Canada. Otherwise, it will 100% affect it. Bedros A. Yeah, so we already did that. Jane Ritan Babiria on YouTube. Hi Reza, can I come to Canada as a visitor and then get a job and start working, then pursue my PR? Yes, but remember, if you want to apply from inside of Canada, right now they have policies until February where you can convert to a work permit if you have a valid job offer. Remember, valid. We're going to discuss that next week. in two of our videos. What is a valid job offer? Remember, if it's past February next year, you will have to flagpole. What does flagpoling mean? It means going to the US border. So basically you're going out and coming back in Canada, but just like through the land border between US and Canada to be able to get your work permit. So as of February next year onwards, if the policy doesn't extend to be able to apply from inside of Canada, then you just have to flagpole. However, yes, if you become eligible for PR programs, yes, you can apply for PRs from inside of Canada. There is no PR program that I know of that doesn't allow you to apply from inside of Canada. Bikram Bisunke is saying, hi, Reza. Hey, how are you? Kartik, I got withdrawal confirmation for the first application from the IRCC after passport request, and now I have a visa card for the second application. Okay, Kartik, so that's fine. So you're in good shape. You don't need to do anything. Congrats on the approval. Bedros A, but I assume it'd be faster in my case. So Bedros is talking about his study permit, which was refused. He's applying from Kuwait. I'd be faster in my case, since my background check has already been done since I applied. No, it doesn't get faster sometimes. If they want to refuse you quickly, yeah, it'll be faster. If they want to approve you, it won't be faster. Because my case specific is too long. Yeah, no problem, Bedros. I mean, you can continue commenting. We'll answer. KSMSSSS That's a handle on YouTube, and he or she's asking a question. Hi, I want to apply, but how much money will I need, or I don't need money? Depends. Work permit, study permit, visitor visa, or PR. There's specific financial requirements for each one. Nevroz Babu. Yes, hi. Reza Jackie, very happy to see you back on Tuesday and love you, dear. For your nice. No worries. The love is back. We want to help everybody here. We're here for you, okay? This is not a fancy YouTube video where I'm going to show and have some special effects. It's all about answering your questions, okay? Otherwise, we charge a lot of money, folks, if you want to hire us. So Bak Nok, right, is saying, Bak Nok is probably from Vietnam. Hi, I have already applied for the Student Direct Stream visa on 8th of October. May I ask how long does it take me to be, hold on, folks, there's too many comments coming in. May I ask how long does it take me to be granted the visa? Typically 2 to 4 weeks if your application is complete. As long as you have your medical, everything is complete. 2 to 4 weeks under Student Direct Stream, Vietnam. Angel G, thanks for your answer. What if I apply for a study visa? Okay, Angel G, I'm just trying to get back to you. For visitor visa, okay, inadmissible. No, it's the same thing, Angel B. If you were inadmissible to US, something happened, the Canadian government immigration will see it. It will 100% affect your file. Jimmy Phillip, I am acknowledgement of permanent residency March 2020, PNP, Ontario, India. Is there a chance that I can get my permanent residency processing request or passport request in the next 2 months based on the general timeline? I doubt it. Very unlikely. Wait for next year. Okay. KSMSSMSSNS. Hi, I want to apply, but how much? No, we already did that. So Kartik is saying, had to wait for 2 months under the SDS category for my study permit confirmation. Yeah, I mean, it's all up and down. There's a huge volume of these applications in India, Kartik. So yes, I've heard of multiple months of processing in certain cases. They're trying to rectify that. But again, it also depends on your intake period. So if for September 2021, May was the deadline. If you had applied before the deadline, it would have been processed within a month at the most, right? But when your intake has passed or you haven't reached the deadline, they can take as long as they want. Just an FYI. Bedros A says, I put an important dates document in my application saying my winter semester starts January 2022. And I put proof of enrollment document in my application too. I assume that would fix it. Yeah, that should fix, if it was part of your original application, not sent later. Prof 418, hey, I'm yet to hear from Laura as regards to my work visa. I'll send a message over, Prof, how she can help you. I'll send her a message today so she can reply to you. No problem, Prof. Nishant Rana. Hi, my acknowledgement of permanent residency is May 30th, 2020. Express entry BC provincial nomination. Till date, my eligibility is not started. Medicals expired and now extended. Criminality is in process. Security not started. File was transferred to Halifax in June 21. Okay. Unfortunately, everything outside of Canada, outlined PR applications basically stopped in 2020. Okay. 2021, again, very little activity. Nishant, don't expect any progress till, third, fourth month of next year. Okay. Early next year. That's it. Nothing will happen this year. Kabita Shrestha, when will spousal open work permit application, visa, passport, PR request be out? It's already been 6 months. Upfront medical given, but it has not been updated. Raised web form 3 days ago. Waiting for reply. Your open spousal work permit will not be approved until the eligibility of your spousal application is approved. That means in general, they agree and your eligibility of the sponsor is approved. So very close to the final approval of your application, you'll actually get an open spousal work permit. I know it's stupid, it's weird, but that's the way it goes. What is the amount that I need for pay for a work permit? This is KSMSS. If you want a work permit, you need a job offer. When you apply for a job offer and based on a valid job offer, you can get a work permit. When you apply for a work permit, you need to show some basic funds to support yourself to come in, right? Nishant. Okay, I'll get back to you, Nishant. So that's that. Quite Private 418. Please, how long does it take to get a work and apply for a work visa and travel? If you're from outside of Canada, it can take anywhere from 2 weeks, depending on the application and the program, to 6 months. It really depends where you're applying, your nationality, and for which program, because there's different programs. Rachel Ayanga. Hi, Reza. Can I look for a job in Canada while on a visitor visa? Also, can I easily apply to get a job in Canada if I don't live in Canada? It's easier to find a job while you're in Canada. If you don't have a valid work permit, it's more challenging. But if you can find some through contacts like families, friends, for employers who are willing to sponsor you, then they can do the process while you're in Canada. Okay. It's not going to be super easy, but it's better than when you're from outside of Canada. Himanshu Garg. Hello, Reza. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. When can we expect the federal skilled worker outline application ITA to get processed that are with IRCC since 2019? I don't expect anything to happen till early 2022, Himanshu. Okay. And when I'm talking about early 2022, I'm not even talking about January or February, not even March, maybe in April. Anywhere from April to June, I think that's when you should be seeing activity. Kartik said, yep, intake, mine January intake applied in August and got visa in October. And yeah, you're right, Kartik. KSMS, we already answered that. Where Abdul Katir said, one more question, no problem. I work in MNC in India. How multinational corporation? How easy is it to move to Canada within my company? Will there be by legal hurdles? I really appreciate your time. If there's a branch here, Abdul, that they want to transfer you, and we can show that you've been working there for at least 6 months to 12 months at least, and you have specialized knowledge, and there's a reason that they're transferring you over, it's not difficult at all. We do it all the time for companies, right? So as long as your employer cooperates, they have a branch here, obviously it's a multinational, and they want to bring you over, yes, their full cooperation is required. Nishant, you said I'm in inland. Okay. It's tough because the provincial programs, Nishant, take 20 to 25 months, but you went through express entry. So there might be an issue, Nishan, because we've had clients in both scenarios. If they went through express entry provincial nominee and they were inside of Canada, and during the processing they declared themselves as inside of Canada, right? Then it should have been processed quickly. Okay, so maybe you were outside of Canada at some point, or you declared it as outside of Canada, or IRCC just made a mistake. We've had clients that have had their processing done within less than 10 months for PNP express entry inside Canada. If you were outside before, you declared that you were outside, or if they found out that you were outside, then it just gets pushed back. Otherwise, it's a huge mistake by RCC. Your file should have been processed ASAP, way like long ago. Angel G, but it has been 9 years since the admissibility, and I was banned for 5 years. Shouldn't it be out of the system by now? It will be out of the system. They probably will be able to see it. I would say just, because if you want to come to Canada, I would say it's worth checking with a lawyer in the US to make sure that it is completely out of the system, right? Because you don't want to risk it, right? Angel G. If you do, that's fine, but I wouldn't risk it. Noor Intan SH. I want to know many time after get biometric. How many time after get biometric? Noor, I'm not sure about the question. I guess you're asking about when your visa will be processed by the embassy. It depends on the embassy you've applied and for what program you've applied. Private vlog always. Hi Reza, the processing times for GTS LMI are not meeting 2 weeks timelines. I'm from India and my application for LMI is submitted by employer lawyer in September. No updates. Okay, so private vlog. You're right and maybe you're not right. You're both 50-50. So we are getting 2-week processing times. We've got clients that are getting it. I've got friends who are doing it. They are meeting it. So it's either there's an issue with your employer and the application or the lawyer. There's something wrong. Okay. Or if they already received an approval. An approval, we just applied for one Friday. The approval will come in less than 14 days. If they don't have an approval, it's not a program issue. It's the application and an issue with the employer. Okay, so the global talent stream is on track. It's working fine. So just an FYI. I don't want to say you're wrong. You're right. But in your case, that's the situation. Everybody else is getting processed super fast. I'm in touch with the global talent stream, officers in terms of our applications that we do on behalf of our clients, and they're super fast. Bedrose, does submitting a web form inquiry question about affect their chances of acceptance? Nope. In most cases, they don't even see it. But no, it won't accept. Prof 418. Okay, I'm from Nigeria. I would love to get a job that will make me go with my husband and 2 boys. It's okay, Prof 418. However, you have to find a job. Like as an immigration firm, we're not allowed to actually find jobs. So you have to find a job, and then we can take care of the legal work. Umer Hayat Khan. Hi, I am Amna. I can apply this year for PNP, this year on next year for PR. Yeah, I'm not sure about the question, but if you can retype it, it would be great. Kabita Shrestha, how long does it take for my spousal open work permit eligibility to review? How much time should I expect in your view? If you're applying from outside of Canada, it's going to take months. I don't even know if they'll process it. If it's from inside of Canada, give it around 4.5 months. And this is today's information. Tomorrow, everything can change. Villager Jad, hi sir, good day. How are you? Good. Thank you for asking. Villager Jad is saying, sir, I have a question. Applicants applying now in the GC key are getting results like a month with no sponsorship, but applied in 2021 March, no results. If it's a visitor visa, yes, the new platform or the new system they've set up will process the visitor visas very quickly. Umesh, so if you do meet the new criteria and you can reapply, great. Then your file will be processed quickly. If not, then that's a problem. Find an excuse to meet the eligibility for the visitor visa new portal, then it'll be good. Umesh Maria, sir, please Tell me on new updates for work permit. Um, for the work permit, there's no new updates. It's just there was some news about the Ontario government planning to reduce work experience equivalency for regulated professions, which has nothing to do with work permits. Umer Hayat Khan, I can apply for a work visa in nursing profession from Saudi if online apply. You can apply for work permit, but you need to have an employer sponsor you and offer you a job offer. Sir, Villager Jack, sir, do you think tourist application also should be applied for a quick decision? Yeah, so visitor visas under the new eligibility criteria, which we covered last week, should be very fast processing if you meet the eligibility. Dear Reza Jackie, how much money I need to show in my account to get a visitor visa if my profile is good? It can be, Albert, um, it can be, it could be anywhere from $10,000 plus Canadian, depending on your nationality. There's people who have way less and get approved, and there's people who have way more and get they're refused. So we have a complaint, folks. Albert Ayub is saying, why are you ignoring my question? Albert, I don't ignore any question. Oh, I missed the question, so it's not intentional. Don't worry. I am a Grenadian and I am civil engineer. What is the best way to go to Canada? I would say, depending on your age, Albert, it would be if you're like 30, 31, 2, and you've got excellent English and you've got 2 post-secondary degrees, potential express entry, potentially Saskatchewan immigration nominee program skilled workers, or potentially coming and studying here to continue your education and then finding a job at the same time here. But finding an employer while you're in Grenada is not going to be easy, right? And you know that, I know that, everybody watching this knows that. So Kai K is saying, it's Kai K here again. Hey, K Kai. Yeah. I want to do the medical exam yesterday as an upfront one and submit it through Ephraim. Thanks for the advice. No problem. When can I hope to get a nice IRCC response? Um, well, just everybody so knows, like I won't remember your cases one by one, right? So um, I'm not sure, Kaiki, I remember you were in the previous set, but I don't know everybody's exact details. Our clients from the office I know, but on YouTube or Facebook or social media, I can't remember everything that there's like hundreds of questions every session, right? But yeah, if you mention it again, I can give you an advice. But if it's a study permit, your intake is in January, or then yeah, you'll be processed quickly. But if it's a visitor visa, if you meet the eligibility of the new portal, yeah, within 4 weeks, I think even sooner. If not in those, then let me know. Nimran Mohe, hello Reza. I want to know what's going on with the CCPR application because I applied on March 22nd, 2021. If you're outside of Canada, they're not processing this year. Ranjot Singh, has Canada changed its NOC to tier? No. NOC is in place, no changes, no expected changes. Umar Hayat Khan, hi, my question this year, I can apply for PNP for PR or not? Umar Hayat Khan, yeah, so I'm not sure because you mentioned something before. I'll need one of you to help me out with these questions. Hold on. I know. It's like the weirdest YouTube video if you're watching this later on, right? It's like, what is this guy doing? Umer Hayat Khan, I can apply for, okay, you were saying that I can apply for work visa in nursing profession from Saudi if online apply. And then you came and said, hi, my question this year, I can apply for PMP for PR or not. If you are eligible, Umar Hayat, PMP is possible. Remember, it's 20 to 25 months processing time for PRs. If you meet the eligibility of the provincial nominee program for PR. Osama Abu Kabar, I and my wife have lied for sponsorship ships lips, and we have went for the interview. Been a month now. How long does the approval take? Have applied. Me and my wife have applied for sponsorships. And we have, it depends. So if they interview you, they're going to make a decision quite quickly in the next couple months. So in the next few months, you'll get a decision because you've already done the interview. My two dependents are outlined. Nishant, I think that's why. You know why? Because we had a similar case. The main applicant was inside and the dependents were outside and everything got pushed back. That's why. And I don't know why IRCC is doing that, but that's why. So you're not going to get anything this year until they start processing your outland dependents. Your file is going to be stuck. So I'm sorry for that, but we had a case similar to yours, and it was a mess. And IRCC is so disorganized now. Bedrose, hold on, guys. Bedrose, one last question, Reza. So when should I expect an answer on my application? I'm really against time here since I have to be in Canada at least before January 10th, 2022. Potentially, they'll make a decision before that time. But when, I don't know, Bedros. It's tough to say. Villager Jat, sir, I applied only on tourism purpose in March. No result. Do you think I should reapply? Yes. If you meet some of the criteria, you've got family members in Canada, whether Canadian or non-Canadian, or you're attending a business conference or you're visiting somebody who's sick, yes, reapply. I think at this point, we've all agreed, reapply. Private vlog always. Yes, I do mean it. Philip, watching from Saudi Arabia. Hey, Philip, how are you? Umar Hayat Khan, if I apply for PMP program next year, how much time for processing? If it's not express entry, 20 to 25 months. If it's express entry, faster if you're inside of Canada. Otherwise, it'll be long. Villager Jatser, can you tell here how much will be your service fee for TRV tourist visa? No, I don't quote prices, Villager Jat, on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. We're here to kind of help everybody. If you have a specific question, reach out to us through our website. Not comments or like general questions like this, because our office doesn't handle it. But if you need somebody to help with your case, we'd be happy to suggest send you a proposal, but not here on YouTube Live. Nimran, plus my baby's on the way in December, so how would it affect my CC? Nimran, I remember you from the previous, I think last week, was it? It will delay it, so you have to update and they will recheck your eligibility for the whole family again, okay, for the newborn baby, because we have a client who, similar case, not exactly the same. So Kai K, okay, I applied for a student permit on July 21st, ended biometric July, but was not the request for medical, so I went to do it as an upfront. Yesterday, I submitted through WebForm. Okay, Kai, that's good. That's good. I would say they have to decide before your intake, right? So anytime within the next 60 days, you should get a decision. Exactly when, nobody knows, but you should get one pretty soon. Private vlog always. Thanks, Reza. Do you also mean that not only GTS LMIA, but also work permit under GTS will be received in 2 weeks? Yes. So altogether, it's 2 weeks, LMIA, and 2 weeks work permit. Yeah. So just to clarify, private vlog, one, it's not an LMIA. Global Talent Stream is LMIA exempt. It's called the Labor Market Benefit Plan. So it's an LMBP, not an LMIA. And it takes 2 weeks max, and the work permits are pushed through the embassy 2 weeks max. Okay, so 4 weeks max. If your employer has not received that Global Talent Stream approval, which is not an LMIA, but just an approval to offer a job to a foreign worker who meets the criteria for the Global Talent Stream occupations, then there's something wrong with your employer or lawyer or their lawyer. Nuha Damag, I've been working for my confirmation of PR, Federal Skilled Worker Outland, since October 2019. Should I expect it soon? Nope. Next year, maybe mid of next year, maybe if we're lucky. And I hope we're not going to have a session next year in June where everybody's back and they're like, it hasn't been processed. I'm just guessing here, Ranjot Singh, hey Reza, Ranjot Singh here. Hey Ranjot, returning worker to Canada. File still ongoing in New Delhi for temporary resident visa since December 2020. One consultant told me I can get a new travel document as I have a valid postgraduate work permit because I visited Canada earlier. My question is it possible for Indian passports to get the travel document and travel to Canada? I was having doubts about it. Would really appreciate your advice. Okay, so Ranjit, I'm assuming you have a valid passport, you have a valid work permit, and you don't have a visitor visa. If that's the case, I would say reapply under the new criteria for the visitor visas, and you will get a decision very, very quickly within this year. Okay, that's my advice. Whoa, that's a big comment somebody just put in. We'll get to that. Osman, thanks. Osman Ak. And I'm sorry for mistake I made for the writing. Oh, you don't need to apologize. Nobody needs to apologize. Unless, something weird. Revati, hi, I have reapplied for my temporary resident visa from India on September 11th, and I'm having a valid work permit till next year. Still didn't receive any update. It might take a little bit of time. Okay, so give it, it can be anywhere from 2 weeks, a day, 2 months. Just be a bit patient, but it will be processed. It won't get stuck like everybody who's been stuck in 2019 and 20. Rebecca Sisson saying, did you have any idea when did they start IRCC processing for the tourist visas? I'm working in Singapore. I've been waiting since December 2020. Biometric done same month too. Reapply, Rebecca, because I think a lot of these applications are just stuck and they're not looking at it. Reapply under the new criteria. Hopefully you meet the new eligibility criteria for faster processing or prioritized processing. If you need help, be happy to reach out through our website. Let me give you our website details here. Please keep your questions, everybody, to the YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, because our office doesn't. Our office handles client files. They don't actually just answer general questions particularly. Umer Hayat Khan, I'm 42 years old. After this November, I can apply for PMP or not? Yeah, it's fine. PMP age restrictions don't come in till like 55 for some provinces, and some provinces have nothing. You need to meet the eligibility criteria, Umer Hayat. Okay, so if you're in Saudi right now, you're not in Canada, and you want to come as a nurse, you've got to get those approvals from the nursing licensing body in that province. And not every, so there's a lot of criteria that you are eligible if you meet the criteria. You're outside of the country, so I'm not sure what you're asking. Like, it's not like the PMP is just gonna select you right away, right? So you gotta be careful what you're doing right now. Bedrose, is there any chance of getting approved for a tourist visa after, in the case of my study permit, getting refused again? If so, I can apply for study permit for the third time while on a tourist visa. Potentially, it's possible. It's unlikely that you'll get one refusal, one approval in 2 different applications. It's possible in theory, but very unlikely. It's actually possible. We've had people with tourist visas who were refused study permits, actually. So yeah, that makes sense. Nishan, should I revoke my application and reapply excluding my outline dependent? Is it better, or should I stay with stuck application? Nishan, you cannot disconnect your family or dependents, because they will ask, and you will, if you don't include them, so you have to include them but say they're not coming, right? But then what'll happen, so if you get a PR, then you have to go through a sponsorship of your dependents, right? That by itself is a whole year of processing again. So I'm not sure, and I wouldn't recommend revoking. I mean, I personally wouldn't, right? So that's my advice. You can choose, but yeah, that's one option. Withdraw and then mention, and then your family has to go through their medical and everything, because they have to be checked for eligibility, but they're not accompanying you, and you have to mention why. But then you have to sponsor them later after you become a PR. So I'm not sure if you want to go through that. Kartik, any tips? I'm landing in Canada for the first time too. That's in winter. Kartik, for winter, make sure you've got a toque, make sure you've got fleece and you wear layers of clothing. Okay, windproof, gloves, and depending on where you're going, sometimes if you're taking public transport and you have to walk outside, you got to get those masks that block the wind from burning your face. Okay, I hope I didn't, unless you're going to Vancouver or Vancouver Island, that's my advice. Bring a toque, warm toque and all that. Where are you in? I'm in Ontario. Kai K, I'm in Ontario. Toronto. I'm Philip, I'm good, sir. Waiting and claiming for my student permit. Um, Waiting for my student permit. In October, lodge here for January. IRCC received my bio last October. Yeah, you should be fine, Philip, in terms of getting a decision. So Marlene Fernandez. Hello, Marlene. I was diagnosed with cancer. Oh, this is a hardcore one. Um, I'm sorry to hear that, Merlin. In 2016, and I've tried all I can do get cured, but all to no avail. Until I saw a post in a health forum about a herbalist man who prepares the herbal medication to cure all kinds of disease. Okay, yeah, it's not immigration related. Thanks for that, but um, I mean, it's good that you found a herbalist, but it's not really relevant to people here at the moment. They want to come to Canada for immigration. um, Bedros A. Yeah, okay. Does passport strength affect the acceptance chances of a study permit? Does passport strength affect the acceptance chances of a study permit? uh, yeah, it does. If you apply with a strong passport, of course, but usually very strong passports. I mean, yeah, you're right. If it's UK, if it's US, Australia, Switzerland, really good passports, Japan, your chances are way better than some countries. Middle East, for example, not a very good kind of place unless you're from Israel. That's a strong passport. I think in the Middle East, probably Israel is the strongest passport, and then I guess it could be Jordan and then Saudi maybe, but Israel is definitely up top. The rest of them, not very good passports in terms of power of passport, visa-free travel. And remember, everyone, I'm from Middle East too, so I understand. Ranjot saying under the new portal, it doesn't show any option for open work permits. Yeah, Ranjot. So I'm just talking about visitor visas. Work permits are the same throughout, so you cannot. If I if your file is still stuck, then I would just apply for a new work permit, reapply, withdraw, reapply. Because if it's been stuck that long, they're not looking at it. This is what I've realized. LS. Will the reshuffling of the cabinet have any effect on federal skill draw? No way. um, this year, see, IRCC has a huge backlog, LS, that they need to process. Nothing is happening unless they process these old files. Federal skilled workers from express entry, outline, or even inland will not be processed. Angel G, one more question. Can I apply for PR through PMP, or will my previous case still affect this? Um, the PR will be different. As long as you declare it, you should be fine. The fact that you had that issue in the U.S. KK is which province in Canada are you in? Yeah, Ontario, Toronto. Is Manitoba, specifically Winnipeg, a good place to stay? It's freaking cold there. It's a lot of job opportunity. It's cold. 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 I don't know. Like it's a nice place. I like Manitoba, but it's cold. Rebecca says, I did reapply already, Sir Reza. They emailed me that the officer not reviewed yet. Do you think I need to reapply again? It depends on when they informed you that the officer hasn't reviewed it yet. Like, when was the last communication you got from them? Nuhab Damak, should I apply for a student visa while waiting for the federal skilled worker outline confirmation of PR? What should I do to speed up my entry to Canada while my express entry is being processed? You can apply for student visa, but there's no guarantee you'll be accepted, right? it's processed separately. So that could be one way to come in. But I think over the next 6 months, you should see something going on. Kartik said, I'm coming to Toronto Humber College. Yeah, great place. I think you're going to enjoy it. Francis Sohe, can I renew my passport and upload it with my proof of vaccination on web form? Will it prompt IRCC to look at my application I applied in 2020 as a religious worker? Reapply, Francis, reapply. Don't do web form. Nishan Rana, thanks a ton, Reza. Have a good day. Thanks. And we're going to sign off, everybody. I got to jump into a consultation. Navroz Babu, Jackie, dear Reza, Jackie, thanks a lot for your valuable answer and always praying for you. Thanks. Praying for everybody. Good day, sir. Wilma. Kujinder Judge. I applied for my wife last year in August. Decision was made in March this year and received pre-arrival letter as well. Everything is done, just waiting for passport request for PR. Could there be something wrong? I doubt it if it's a spousal sponsorship, right? If they approved it, right? And you're just waiting for that, it's just the embassies are backlogged right now. That's the only reason. Bedros A, I'm a dual Armenian Syrian citizen, and I had to reapply with my Syrian passport because my Armenian passport expired. I put in a document that claimed I have both passports though. Yeah, I mean, you know, and I know, Bedros, Syrian, Iranian passports, these passports are not great. Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. I mean, at least you informed them, but it's a tough one. Apply to Canada is not easy, Wilma. Yeah, you're right, Wilma. Adenika Udovu, my stay in Canada lapses in December. I applied for a work permit under the public policy. Great. If I don't get a decision before December, what do you advise? Well, you applied, so you're waiting for decision. Okay, so that means you don't reapply to renew your visitor visa. Okay, you have done an application from inside Canada under the new policy, so you wait for decision. Even when your 6 months or your visitor record is expiring, you're still legally inside Canada. You cannot work until a work permit decision has been made. When a work permit decision has been made, if you're refused, you can try to restore your visitor visa status. If you're approved, then you can start working based on the work permit conditions. LS, how long does a student visa take these days to process? It's all over the place, LS. I've heard 2 weeks and I've heard months. Kartik, thanks a lot, Reza. Hope you have a good day. Thanks, guys. CB Thomas, I'm 40 years old, want to come to Canada in Atlantic Immigration Program. Will I be coming with work permit? You can apply for work permit at the same time as your PR. So while your PR is being processed, you can come here on a work permit. Angel G, much thanks. Nuha Damak, thanks a time for being the light at the end of the tunnel. No problem, Nuha. Sahib Singh, I applied 11 p.m. in TR to PR pathway. Sahib, I know what you're probably going to ask. Yeah, when will it be processed? So our clients who we applied around noon or between noon to 2 p.m., we're just getting their PRs processed now. You will be at the very end. So, you know, probably next several months you have to wait because they have not processed even the 3 p.m. ones or 5 p.m. ones. So you still always go. Anyways, guys, I gotta run. If you're watching this video, YouTube video on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, and you think we're crazy talking so much, we're just answering questions, folks. The news part is the first 5 minutes, the update part. Okay. No problem, Sam. Take care, everybody. We're gonna be back here again. We're going to be back here again at 5 p.m. Eastern time, which is North America, East Coast. We're going to be here with my colleague who's going to speak Spanish. Okay. And we're going to discuss what is the discussion point. I'm going to tell you what this afternoon's discussion point is. Okay. I'm going to tell you, everybody wait. It's going to be apply for a work permit from inside of Canada. Wow. There was a couple of questions on that. So we're going to cover on applying how, when, why, where. We're going to apply for work permit from inside of Canada. We're going to take you through the details. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Take care. We're off now.